What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with Patriot Outpost, and it's been over a day since Joe Rogan tweeted this out, an invitation to his Twitter followers, nearly 8 million of them, to join him on an alternate social media platform, GETTR. And what has resulted from that is not only an explosion in GETTR users, but also a huge conversation taking place about alt tech, about different social media platforms, about Twitter, and whether it may be the end for them, or at least the beginning of the end. And as you can see, Joe Rogan right over here on GETTR, and thank you, GETTR, for having dark mode. Joe Rogan says, just in case shit over on Twitter gets even dumber, I'm here now as well. Rejoice. And that does have 65,000 likes, about 10,000 reposts. And when you go to Joe Rogan right there, you can see he's at 8.5 million followers. That has been something that has been talked about quite a bit. We'll get into that and why that doesn't mean he has 8 million followers on GETTR, but it's a combination of his Twitter followers and his actual GETTR followers. As you can see, Joe Rogan also has 7.9 million followers on Twitter, as well as it seems like over 500,000 followers, nearly 600,000 followers over on GETTR, which is a pretty big number considering he's only been there for a day. But it's resulted in conversations like this one. Did Joe Rogan just end Twitter? Rogan announces he's joined Twitter competitor GETTR. And I've seen that thrown around a decent amount. I don't think there's anybody that truly thinks that Joe Rogan, simply Joe Rogan joining GETTR, joining an alternative platform, not as his main one, just to also post to as well as Twitter, is all of a sudden going to destroy Twitter and be the end of Twitter. But what it does signify is yet another social media alternative on the rise, another one that may become popular. And over time, we're talking about years and years and years, yeah, maybe a decent amount of people do go there. But let's take a look at the article from Daily Wire. Popular podcast host Joe Rogan on Sunday announced that he's joined social media platform GETTR, a competitor of Twitter that promises to adhere to free speech principles. Join me on GETTR, Rogan tweeted out, just like we talked about. On GETTR, the host suggested his move to a newer website was predicated by recent censorship from Twitter. Just in case, like we said, just in case it gets even dumber, I'm here now. The announcement from Rogan, who has a stunning 7.8 million followers on Twitter, marked his name to trend Sunday afternoon and evening for hours. And then you have this tweet that blew up from Mark Lobliner. Did Joe Rogan just end Twitter? That got 6,000 likes over there. And I think the answer is no. Obviously, the answer is no. However, I do think it's important to be on a lot of different places. GETTR, over here, I have 1,700 followers on GETTR. I had 700 yesterday when I made a video about Joe Rogan going over there. So there has been an extreme amount of growth over there very, very quickly. And as we see a lot, just like we saw with Parler, just like we've seen with Minds or things in the past, this happens. You see a sudden influx, whether it's someone like Gina Carano joins or Joe Rogan joins or whatever it may be. However, over time, people are going to go back to what they feel familiar with, which is something like Twitter. Now, I do think it's important to be everywhere. I think it's important to be on Twitter and not let it just be a left-wing cesspool. But I do think it's important to join places like this, join places like GETTR, get in the conversation here, and get your voice out as wide as it can go. I'm also over on Minds. Let's go to my Minds right here. Now, I don't use Minds near as much as I should, so I am over here. I don't even know. I guess I have 1,000 followers over there, which is, I didn't even know I had that many on Minds. I try to post there every so often. I'm not as good about it as I should be. But just like I upload this channel to Odyssey, to YouTube, to Rumble, to a lot of different places, I also want to have my voice out there on the social media platform as well. But when it comes to this new emerging GETTR that everyone is talking about now, because of people like Joe Rogan, because a lot of other conservative talking heads, very popular figures like that, moved over to GETTR, and by moved, I simply mean created a GETTR account, I don't think that all of a sudden means that Twitter is gone. Twitter is still the biggest platform, the best way to get your voice out there to the most amount of people. But the problem is the mass censorship that's going on. The fact that they banned Marjorie Taylor Greene for misinformation, even though she was just posting statistics. When they ban a doctor who is critical to the development of mRNA technology, the same kind of technology that was used to develop the vaccine. Those things are a problem and people are tired of it. One of the problems I think GETTR will have, though, is that it can't become simply a right-wing echo chamber. And if it's just a right-wing Twitter, I guess that's okay for some people, but for a lot of people, that's not what they want. There's definitely going to be bans over here. It's not like you can just post whatever you want. There's some things that are illegal. GETTR also, not sure if you know this or not, they also don't allow things like hate speech or harassment, whatever that means. They're not super clear, just like Twitter's not super clear. Do I think we'll be able to talk about a lot more things over on GETTR? Yeah. Do I think you'll be able to talk about COVID and not be in fear of being banned? Yeah, I do. And I think that's a great part about GETTR. However, it's not this perfect platform or anything like that. But you can see with its explosion just in one day and likely to continue to grow, even if it won't necessarily be sustained, I do think that's important. I think it's important to get your voice out there. I will leave mine. I will leave my profile in the pinned comment of this video and also in the description. I encourage you to at least try it out. You know what I mean? You might not like it. You might not care about it. It might not be for you, but at least give it a shot, because I think it is important, just like with Rumble, just like with Odyssey, with these emerging platforms, it is an important thing. Now, there's one thing that people have been a little bit worried about when it comes to GETTR, and I wanted to address that. And it's this article right here. The newest MAGA app is tied to abandoned allied Chinese billionaire. GETTR has existed as a Chinese language social media network linked to Guowengu or something. I don't know how to pronounce that. It was unveiled as a new platform by Jason Miller on Thursday. This is back when it first launched in July. That's when I made an account on GETTR, and it wasn't until recently that it really started exploding after Joe Rogan went over there. Anytime someone sees that you have an app that is tied to something from China, they're going to be very wary. Now, I don't know everything about this. I don't know all the facts about this guy, but I do know that before, what GETTR was used for and what this guy stands for is very anti-Chinese Communist Party. It's very pro-free Hong Kong and things like that. He's been bashing on the Chinese Communist Party for quite a long time. That's one of the things GETTR was used for, actually. We can go here and see a political review reveals that prior to it being revealed on Thursday, back in July, GETTR had existed for nearly a year as a Chinese language social media network linked to Guo and GTV Media, and on which anti-CCP content has been promoted on a regular basis. Now, anytime you hear about any connections to China, that is going to make a lot of people wary. It seems like the person involved is very anti-Chinese Communist Party, which for most people that would be using GETTR is probably a good thing. But I think it should be out there, the original people that may have been connected to this and how much involvement they have, no idea. My recommendation to everybody is to try it out. And try to get your voice out there to as many places as possible. That way, if you get taken down on one, you still have another. You can still build your platform and continue spreading whatever message it is that you want to spread. But let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. The explosion of GETTR, the conversation behind what's going on out there, because I think it's really important. Let me know. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.
Thanks for watching, everyone. And a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my PO box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.